What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the MME YouTube channel. My name is something, and my name is Tyler Egan, and in today's video, we're going to be discussing how health is energetic alignment. I'm going to say that one more time. Health is energetic alignment. Before we dive sorry, I don't know what's happening to me. Too deep into that today, we'd really appreciate it if you all could leave a like, a comment, and subscribe if you take anything from today's video or if you enjoy the content that we put out there. With that out of the way, let's dive into it. And let's start with this. And that is, first we have to establish that prana or chi, the words that humans have created in these various schools of thought, that describe life force energy, the very essence that energizes all of creation, all of the living beings floating around. Well, we're not floating, but we're floating on a rock in space, right? So prana, chi, whatever word that you prefer to use to describe it, the life force energy, that very essence that energizes our life, is everything and anything that is on this planet. Like, even if we look at something like an inanimate object like a marker, I mean, the resources that were manufactured to create this thing were derived from the earth, right? A living creature that is a part of this prana, this life force energy. You know, then there's the manual labor that went into the production of this, or this, or this. I mean, the paper's pretty self-explanatory because of the whole tree thing, but these inanimate objects even have life force energy at the bare minimum poured into them, whether it's the machinery used to create it, right? That men and women alike had to pour their own energy into to make the machine or to think up the machine. Wherever it comes from, life force energy is a part of everything and anything floating around on this planet. Or, you know, like grounded to the planet, but we're all floating on a rock in space, is kind of what I'm getting at here. So with that in mind, prana, we can say then, is vital. I mean, a healthy stream of prana, a healthy stream of life force energy is vital for our health. Because in every moment, from the second you popped out of your mom, we're all dying. I'm laughing because it's the whole paradox, or the whole double-edged sword of life, is entertaining to me, and at the same time it is kind of morbid too. But the truth is, in every moment of every day, we are all dying from the moment we're born. The interesting thing about this is, though, when we have kids or we have young loved ones in our family, like, I don't have kids, but I have 2 nephews, and I just want to see those little dudes thrive, right? And I imagine it's probably like that, but times 100 for parents, right? So it's like, when we look at the youth, we want to see them thrive. We want to nourish them. We want to nourish them, whether it's nourish them with good quality food. We want to nourish them by, like, encouraging them to exercise, to move their bodies, to explore themselves, to educate them, to enhance the quality of their brain. We encourage them to nourish themselves through experience, right? Through enjoyment, things of that nature. But as we get older, as we start to settle into who we think we are, within the neurological framework of our brain, we don't think about nourishment in the same sense. And what ends up happening is, especially in our culture today, the idea of taking care of oneself is the perception is often viewed as a chore rather than an act of unconditional self-love, an act of unconditional self-compassion, right? So through that lens for a moment, let's look at it. We're always dying. And when we're children, we're encouraged to nourish ourselves in all of the ways that nourishment can take form. In all of the ways nourishment can take form, right? Whether it's like our mother or our father nurturing us back to health, or them encouraging us to believe in ourselves, or them encouraging us to go do something with our lives and be the best we can possibly be, whatever it is, right? So there's nourishment, and then there's fueling death. So we can either, because we're always dying, we can either feed, nourish creation, the creative essence that we are, or we can fuel the inevitable demise of us all, and that is that we're dying, right? And so how do we fuel those two things? Well, again, I kind of talked about nourishment. The same thing applies whether we're children or grown-ass adults. You could be 25, 35, 75, it doesn't matter. Nourishment is still nourishment. Your body still needs nourishment just as much, actually, if not more, in certain aspects when you're older than it does when you're a child. And there's a nuance to that, because it's like when you get older, sleep might be more important than when you're a kid and you're 15 years old and you can thrive off of 3 hours of sleep, or in your mid-20s when you're working your way up in the work culture and you're getting 3 hours of sleep a night, but like you survive for 7 years doing that, you don't need as much sleep time. But when you're 75, you may require, damn near I say demand, the 9 hours of sleep a night or whatever it is. So there's just nuance there. So anyway, nourishment is still nourishment no matter which way we peel the orange. Nourishment is still nourishment. It does not matter how old you are. Fueling death is all the same as well. You can fuel death, you can fuel demise, you can fuel, better said, disease, the dis-ease within our body, right? The dis-ease, the uneasy feelings within our body with poor quality food, lack of movement, all the opposites of what nourishment would be. So fueling our brains with negativity, fueling our brains with negative and toxic people, negative and toxic behaviors, right? Fueling our brains with negative and toxic information. Because like everything on the internet these days is information in a sense. You can learn something about someone in some capacity. You can be following all the people from high school who are negative and toxic. And every time you scroll on Instagram or Facebook or whatever it is, you come across Susie Sally Pants from 5th grade geometry class, I don't know, geometry and yeah, whatever. And so now Susie's spilling her guts out on the internet and she's really negative and she clearly doesn't know how to do XYZ thing. And so now it's like you're just consuming that. And you're fueling your brain with negativity. This isn't to judge Susie for a minute. She's just kind of over here being an example. But we're just fueling negativity by consuming that type of information. Again, everything on the internet these days is information. So every choice we then make is a choice for nourishment or a choice for dis-ease. Right? We're choosing through the lens of free will for a moment. Because yes, we have free will. We all have a divine purpose, a reason we're sent to live out our life on this planet, the human experience that we were predestined to live. And you have the raw ability to not choose it. You have the ability to not choose it. It has been clear for me for the past decade of my life that like this pathway is my pathway. Teaching people consciousness, teaching people about health, right? But I came up against obstacles in my life where I was addicted to alcohol for the first 7 years of my adult life. I don't know if that is very inviting to someone who should be teaching health. You understand what I mean? So it's like we're going to come up against ourselves in this regard. And what I mean by that is on the pathway of aligning our energies through the lens of our health, we're going to come up against the smaller versions of ourselves, those small versions of ourselves that use these unhealthy, disease-feeding behaviors and patterns to cope with unhealed emotional and childhood trauma. Along the pathway, you will come up against those smaller versions of yourself. And I'm not saying this to encourage you to shame yourself to not shame yourself out of the behavior, because it doesn't work that way. And I say that from personal experience because I tried to shame myself out of drinking alcohol and that behavior reared its ugly head. I mean, the drinking did. I came back to drinking like 7 times. So my point is that every action we take, every choice we make, whether it's a choice from an unconscious pattern or a choice from a conscious pattern, is either fueling and nourishing creation or it is feeding disease and death. You can choose the path of feeding disease and death by choosing behaviors that produce short-term gratification and long-term discomfort and pain. As an example, and I'm not saying this to shame anybody, I was a personal trainer for 4 years, for anybody who's new here, and I learned a lot in that time period. And one of the things I learned is when people choose to eat unhealthy in the early stages of their life, for whatever reason, right? Like, your story is valid, and the truth is, if you choose to neglect your health when you're in your 20s and 30s, when you're 50 or 60, it will catch up for you. It will catch up to you, I'm sorry. Every single one of my clients who were in their 50s to 70s, every single one of them recognized that they made poor lifestyle choices when they were in their 20s and 30s, and they all had valid stories. They were taking care of their kids. They were trying to make a career for themselves, a combination of the two things. Whatever their story was, it was always valid. And the truth was, their decisions led to the outcome that they were experiencing. So you can choose the short-term gratifications of, and what I mean by that, in those types of scenarios where you got kids and you got the work and the things, is you go and you buy McDonald's every other night, or fast food every night, or you eat out every night, knowing that it's not the best path for you as far as nourishing your body is concerned. But you do it anyway for the convenience, short-term gratification, right? Instead of the long-term gratification, but the short-term discomfort, which would be, you know what, maybe I get more organized. Maybe I start to plan out my weeks by maybe meal prepping Sundays and Wednesdays. So I got the first half of the week covered and the second half of the week covered. Or you start to get more organized with the kids or your work routine so that when you come home at night, you can actually meal prep. Or, if you have the financial means, you start to hire meal prepping services that can provide you with nourishing foods rather than the quick fixes. Like, if you're ordering out from a fast food joint or a pizzeria or any of these types of places, I mean, the likelihood that they are using quality nutrition to cook your foods is very minimal. Like, even places like Chipotle and Chick-fil-A, which are marketed as higher end fast food type of places because they're healthier, cook our foods in highly refined processed oils. And that's a topic for a different day because I'm going to send myself down a rabbit hole talking about that. But just take note of that is what I mean by the short-term gratification. I need food now and I don't want to plan ahead. Therefore, I just go out and buy the food. Again, I'm not saying this to judge anybody. I've been there. I've done all of those things. I understand. And you can get ahead of that by nourishing your body through a structured routine and creating discipline in your life by establishing firm rules and boundaries within the confines of your health. I am no longer eating out anymore. I am meal prepping twice a week, or whatever you need to do. These are just, I'm kind of speaking for myself. I meal prep kind of ish twice a week, once a week really. Right? Because again, we all have a divine soul purpose. We all have a reason for being here. We all signed a soul contract stating, this is why I'm here. And you have the free will to choose to ignore that and neglect your health. In every moment, you have the choice. Now, if you were raised in a certain aspect which encouraged unconscious patterns to form, subconscious programming to form, where you neglect your health, I understand. And that's why I do what I do, and I mentor people through these processes. I mentor people to heal those wounds, to nourish and fuel creation, fuel life, fuel their bodies. There's a million diets out there. There's a million ways to work out. If you've seen any of my videos before, like you've seen me work out, I work out like a freaking lunatic, and I love it. Right? But I've also done the bodybuilding thing. There's so many avenues to explore. You can run. I love cycling too, actually. So many avenues to explore. I'm not here to preach any one avenue of health and wellness. I'm here to encourage you to align your energetic being, align your heart, mind, and soul by nourishing your body. Because without a healthy body, you're going to have an unhealthy mind. You want to know why that is? Because when you have joint pain, you have disease in your body, your organs aren't functioning right, you're not getting good quality sleep, you're not getting all the nutrients you need, then your body is going to focus on the first problem at hand. Sorry, your mind is going to focus on the first problem at hand. The mind is a problem-solving machine. The mind narrows its focus on the first and most important problem it sees at hand. And what is that? Well, my body is not healthy. My liver's not doing its thing. I'm deficient in this vitamin. And it subconsciously, it knows what it needs. You're just missing the communication because your mind and body aren't aligned. So when you start, and like, let's face it, y'all, we all understand the basic principles of getting healthier. Moving your body and eating healthier. Whatever that looks like for you in the beginning is what that looks like for you in the beginning. Do what you gotta do. When you start getting your body healthier, you can start to work on your mind and start to organize your mind. That doesn't mean you have to lose 75 pounds tomorrow. All that means is you have to start to nourish your body through movement and through quality nutrition in whatever capacity you have the ability to do right now. That could be one meal a day. That could be a 10-minute walk a day. That could be a combination of the two. You could be a complete fucking savage and overhaul your life tomorrow night. I don't encourage that, but you could do it. You know what I mean? So there are so many avenues to explore with these things. You have to meet yourself where you're at. Get your body healthier. Without a healthy body, your mind will be in chaos. Once your body's healthy, then you can organize your mind. Once your mind's organized, you can start to pick up on the cues, the unconscious, subtle, subconscious cues that your body is trying to filter to your mind all the time to get you to recognize that some things, some ways to naturally heal are innately being communicated to you, but your mind is in chaos, so you are unable to recognize the subtle signs that your body is sending you. So we start moving, we start eating healthier. The body starts to feel a little bit better. Ooh, okay, I feel good. My mind starts to feel a little more clear, less anxiety. I'm less worried about my knee pain and my back pain and my diabetes is a little bit more manageable, and my blood work is better. The doc's saying XYZ thing, right? So cool. Now that we have the body's healthier, we're organizing the mind, right? Now you're gonna start to find better alignment. The body is quite literally the vessel for us to find alignment. Find harmony between the masculine and feminine, the masculine mind, the feminine body. Right? And harmonize those energies. But if these things are in chaos because of unconscious programming leading us to neglectful behaviors for our health and well-being, leading to fueling, maybe unintentionally, maybe unconsciously, fueling disease. And again, I know this is really morbid, but death, rather than fueling nourishment and fueling creation. So we need to get our bodies healthy, get our mind, which will allow us to organize our minds. Once our minds are organized, we can start to pick up on the subtle cues from our body, which will just take us to a new level of health. Once our mind and bodies are aligned, we can start to pick up on signs and signals and synchronicities from the divine, communicating to us like, hey, this is the next step. Because without a healthy mind and without a healthy body, again, your nervous system, and I'm going to say it in a different way, your nervous system is going to be on overload. And you may start to mistake synchronicities and signs from the divine as the wrong thing. Because you're seeing it through the lens of a wound. You're seeing it through the lens of an overactive nervous system due to an unhealthy body. So we get the body healthy, we organize the mind, energies start to align. Oh my God, that rhymes. What just happened there? That was awesome. Okay, so now the question comes, if you're still here and you're still with me, actually, cheers, because I haven't hydrated this whole video, and that's a necessity. So now if you're still with me, the question is like, what do I do? I've actually kind of already alluded to this unintentionally, but if you're in a space right now where you really want to get healthier, but like you don't know where to start, I want to encourage you to just ask yourself the question, where do I begin? You have the answer. Because only you can truly know where to begin. When I was personal training, I could help my clients move better, but I couldn't make them do anything. Their first choice was paying for my services so that I could help them with their exercising. You could totally go do that. But without a solid foundation, a solid habitual foundation, solid structure for yourself, hiring like a personal trainer, what I found at least was always a means to an end for my clients. Almost all of them went back to not exercising when they were done working with me because they didn't have the structural foundation, which was the embodiment of a habit for movement. And that's why you have your own answers. You know what to do next. Maybe you need to see results before you begin to embody the notion that you are a healthy person who does healthy things for themselves. Maybe that means spending the money to go get a personal trainer. Again, I had clients who did that too. Maybe on the other hand though, you need to build the structural foundation within yourself and the results can wait. So you start with 10-minute walks. You start by just one healthy meal a day and you just start to build and compound those habits. One small habit a day can leave an entire change in your lifestyle in a year. Then comes consistency. That's why I talked about in our last video, one of our last videos, establishing internal boundaries for yourself. You have to establish these internal boundaries within the confines of your health for and with yourself. If you're gonna say, I'm meal prepping, I'm not eating out anymore, then when Susie Sally Pounds from work, I don't know how she followed you from 5th grade geometry to work, but she did. When she approaches you to go out for dinner, you say no. You say no. This is one of the things that not all of them, many of my clients struggled with, was saying no to people when they establish boundaries for their health. You have to practice the art of saying no. You will, again, you're gonna come up against those small versions of yourself again, where you wanna people please and go out to dinner because you love Sally Susie Pants from work. She's a good person and you don't wanna disappoint her. And your fucking health is more important. I'm actually saying that a little more aggressively because I'm saying this for you. I'm actually saying this for myself too. I'm saying this for past Tyler though. Your health is more important than meeting somebody else's needs. Your health is more important than meeting somebody else's needs. If you want to know now what specifically to do, ask yourself. Maybe you need to educate yourself more. What does a good workout look like? There are videos on this channel with workouts. There are videos on this channel where I break down how to create a full body workout routine for yourself. Right, so the information is out there. Maybe you want to learn and nerd out on these things, do it. Maybe you want to hire someone, do it. Maybe you want to start small with a healthy meal today and a walk tomorrow, do it. Only you know what is truly the next step for you. I hope this video has helped you align your energy through a healthy body. If y'all took anything from this video, we'd really appreciate it if you could leave a like, comment, and please subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace out.